Looking for a tiny little trailer? Don't need the biggest, flashiest, fanciest thing in the world? Trying to camp on a budget? You don't want to give up your daily drive and SUV? If any of that applies to you, stay tuned. I got one here for you. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV, taking a look at a Bushwhacker. To this day, like, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and all that. When I hear the Bushwhackers, I think of a WWF tag team wrestling team. And these guys, you know, they had their heads shaved, they had a weird walk, they had green tongues, they licked kids' foreheads, and everyone's like, whoa! But, I don't know, maybe I'm old for my age. Because maybe when somebody else thinks Bushwhacker, they're thinking of a little kind of teardrop camper that we're looking at right here. This is by a company called Braxton Creek. They're a newer-ish kind of company. They've been around for a little while. They actually started in conventional stick and tin campers, and they've really pivoted over to these small little guys right here. And I'm in Davenport, Iowa, recording this today, and we just absolutely, like, these things fly off the shelves almost as quick as they come in here. I think because they're the right weight, they're the right price. You know, they're not so large, again, that you have to, like, change your vehicle. They're easy to park, maybe in a garage if you have a decent overhead door size or something like that. But they're not going to be for everybody. Like, it doesn't have a big, giant, massive bed space in it or something like that. Though I will measure these beds as we go through. We're gonna see how it goes here. I'm a big dude in a tiny camper with a camera. What could go wrong? Now, with my videos giving you candid information, being as transparent as possible, that's what I'm here to give you. And I want to start with an example of that might be an instant deal breaker for somebody. What I'm about to show you might say, no, I'm not going to buy that. So understand, I'm telling you stuff that might hurt my company's ability to do business with you at a glance. I feel confidently that if we shoot you straight, we will find a trailer that works for you, and you'll give us that opportunity. What I'm getting at is these are a short height camper. If I stand straight up, I'm really grinding my head into that thing. I'm about a 6'1" interior from floor to ceiling panel, which means things like these lights, are, you know, gonna hit you a little bit. I actually took my shoes off to do this, and my head's still really pushing up into the ceiling there. So, again, this is made to be small, this is made to be light, this is made to be very towable. It's going to slipstream down the road nicely with that full fiberglass exterior and very small amount of square foot exterior coverage. But if, you know, you got into this thing expecting it to be the size of a Solitude or a Pinnacle or a Montana, well, I think we need to reevaluate our expectations, but I at least want you to know what you are and are not getting here. And another thing, I don't use tricky fisheye camera lenses unless I'm absolutely forced to. This is a tiny little camper. I'm not going to misrepresent it by making it look bigger than it actually is. It might mean that I have to kind of climb around and do a lot of circling and pivoting and spin you around like a record baby. But we don't need to leave tears for fears or anything like that. I'm going to do my best to kind of show you what she's got and where she's got it. This is the 17BH. This is their front bunk model. And like all of these, you know, it's not big, it's not large, it's not over the top. But I'm not going to lie. I expected it to look and feel chintzier when I got in here. I am pleasantly surprised. Now, I'm not saying I'm getting a big-time amazing luxury feel, but when I'm looking at this, the general fit and finish isn't bad. It's a simple camper. It has simple goals, and they're simply effective at accomplishing those. Like, I'm okay with what I'm seeing here, given the lighter weight and the budget. Is she the prettiest belle at the ball? No, but it does look like she'll get you home, you know. Now, back here, this is going to double as one of two things. So you could use this model a couple different ways. You could leave it in dinette mode all the time, and then you could use the front bunks as your sleeper. So if you're one person, you could use a bunk for cargo space. Then you could sleep on the other one. If there's two people, maybe, you know, if you're doing some buddy camping or something like that. Or some people, even some married couples, just don't enjoy necessarily sleeping together. You don't have to fold this thing down into a sleeper. But you do have that ability. Now, I don't normally show in real time how all this works, but I figure since this is something that, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to this, and I'm like, hey Hey, how you doing over there? Since this is something that you may be doing regularly, I thought I'd show you how easy or not easy it is. I've never touched one of these before. This is my first time in a Bushwhacker ever, which is not a sentence I thought I'd be speaking out loud this morning when I woke up. But here's how she goes. This is kind of like a light Laguna style table. It's not a true Lagoon table, but if you want to, you could pivot this thing around, I suppose. Yeah, you can pivot that all the way around. Makes for kind of easy in or out. And actually, this is an interesting showcase. If you pop this off of here, you don't have to use the table. If you just want to use this like a little kind of open lounge space, nothing says this has to be just a dinette. Remember, you can kind of convert this stuff over however you want. Something I am noticing is they did plywood back this table. That's a nice touch. I don't see a lot of manufacturers do that. So what happens is this table, even though it is a sealed edge pressed membrane, it is packed with a, you know what? A spade, a duck, a duck. I'm not going to church it up. A sawdust core that is compressed and glued together, and then it's sealed in an M&M candy-coated shell, basically. Which is fine. You know, it's sealed so water can't get to it, but it's not good with screw retention, so that extra plywood right there is a nice little touch. Now, this can screw on so it doesn't get off there, and you can tighten that table down so it doesn't do the spinneroony on you if you don't want it to. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Let's flip her down. All right, so let's give her a go. I've never encountered this thing before. We'll see how she happens. But I do know with the dinette, you're gonna put the table down on these little runners. Cushion always gets in the way a little bit, lift it up. Now, it's a guessing game, but I'm eyeballing this, and I've been doing this for a while. I've been in it for a minute. Yep, that's what you do. Gonna use those cushions. These little guys, we're gonna just whoop, back on the bunks for now, get those out of the way. But now, we've got this thing. Ooh, this is new, this is different. What is this? Okay, I gotta guess. This looks like it pivots. I'm guessing you lift, yeah, you lift that up, and then this will fold down, and this cushion goes on here. Now, this back cushion looks like it's still not totally level, but my question is, what kind of size do we have? Let me kick my shoes off here. I hope you appreciate, by the way, doing all this so that you can see how easy it is or not. Again, if somebody like me who's never touched this camper before can do it, it can't be that complicated, but let's check the size. But another thought, you don't have to use this, like, you don't have to convert it. What do we got here? Okay. Yeah, all right. So we got about 6'4"-ish interior wall space. I'm just roughly eyeballing it. But if you don't want to deal with this, you could just leave it converted down. Heck, you could take that little pivoting thing off and just make this a bed, leave it a bed, and then you have the front beds. You can do your other stuff outside. I mean, you can use this however you want. That's really kind of the message here. My curiosity, though, is what size is this really? The good news, we have the technology. All right, we are 59 inches wide. We are also 78 inches, 6.5 wall to wall. So there you go. All right, now from the dinette lounge bed, moving forward, what kind of combination stupid nerdism name can I give that thing? I'll think on that. This uses a side mount era. It's a 5,000 BTU, which in this size and with a pure white fiberglass exterior should, I would think, be enough. Maybe some southern hot climates might want an 8,000 BTU. I don't know if they offer that from the factory on these or if they're pretty standardized. There's not a ton of options available. You do see that big 12-volt vent fan up top, though, which is nice. Speaking of 12-volt, we do have a 12-volt Everchill fridge over here as well. Now, on the side of the cabinet, we've got household USB plugs and TV hookups. So if you want to bring a little TV, you could stand one up there. This is a laminated RV sidewall. And I don't see a sticker that says mount it or like prep for TV, so I don't know if you want to do that there. But that nice thick board on the side of the cabinet, I bet that could support a swing arm for no bigger than a TV that you're going to actually put over in here. And I'm a little surprised, still including DVD player, although I don't see where there's actually cords run to it, so you might need to literally plug cables into the back of this thing if you want DVD function. I don't know, everybody camps a little bit different here. Traditional non-convection microwave. Again, everything in this like when you see these small teardrop guys, there's so many teardrop manufacturers who are just like space age, fancy, super expensive. This is not those things. This is just camping, man. This is just the facts. Ugh, man, ooh, I did not mean to fling that open that hard. I'm so sorry. I like that big open chunk of space. No drawers, but there's not a lot of space in here. I kind of understand why they didn't do drawers in there. Now, this is interesting. The bathroom here, this is a very different print of wall panel from what I normally see on these things. It is not a stand-up shower, in case you were wondering. This is a wet bath. This is where you can do the 3 S's, but only 2 at a time. And if you've got go-go gadget arms, you could reach over and actually flip your bacon while it's sizzling on the pan over the cooktop. Now, again, this is their bunkhouse model, or you could use the rear lounge and use this like your primary bed space right here. Both bunks have their own lights. I wonder, is there anything that says the bunk rating on this? I am trying to get better about that, but I don't see any sticker that says the bunk rating. My apologies. Usually a bunk like this is rated for about 250 to 300 pounds, but again, I can't guarantee that on camera here right now. What I can guarantee is that once again, we've got the floppy measuring tape technology. We're gonna see how big she is. All right, so these beds are 41 inches wide and by the way, I don't normally have the opportunity to hand measure every single sleeping space, but today it just felt really appropriate on this unit. 78 inches wide. Well, that makes sense. If the other bed was 78 inches wide, why would this one be any different? It's not like the walls are wider up here, Josh. All right, well, let's talk construction on these, because going through the manufacturer's website and their brochures, which is basically just a printout of their website, it is not very clear as to how these things are put together. So, what we're riding on here is a different kind of chassis. This is a huck-bolted Norco chassis, not a traditional I-beam frame. This is made by, again, a company called Norco, not LCI. And the idea here is that it's kind of like an aircraft style frame, and it can't be over crimped, because the thing with huck bolts is as they are tightened down, the head of it actually shears off at a predetermined PSI. So you can't over tighten it, you can't over crimp it, you can't, in the construction process, accidentally crush any of the structure of the chassis itself. Now, the rest of the structure of this is aluminum framed in terms of the body shell construction, though you might notice the interior, say, wall partitions are stick built. One of the things that is also kind of interesting about these is it is a pure fiberglass exterior. Like, if I get you up here and I'm going to do a little go-go gadget arm. Stretch you right up there. You see that it's a one-piece fiberglass front-to-back kind of thing. The idea there is that there's now fewer seams, fewer seals, and reduced upkeep as a result. Although, remember, you do still have all, your different roof fixtures and seams and things like that you are going to want to take care of. Now, the underbelly of this is not enclosed. This is not intended to be some super solar off-grid Four Seasons epic camper. This is just a lightweight, casual, little camper. And I love the fact that it doesn't try to oversell itself. It knows what it is, it stays in its lane, and that really helps them keep things like their pricing in check. Now, your spare tire is undermounted back here, and you notice that at least we do have a propane hooker down there, so that if you want to bring like a little griddle, something like that, you might be able to slide it in that rear compartment. Not quite the tallest baggage door, but I think they gave us what they could. Now, once again, full fiberglass exterior, front to back, side to side, aluminum framed, block foam insulated, and since we have a 5,000 BTU side mount air, you have a lower overall ceiling clearance. So if you live in like an HOA and they don't let you just park a camper out by the curb or beside your garage, you might be able to get this inside of more garage doors. It just kind of depends a little bit. And again, lightweight, but I want to come back and talk about the weights here, because the RV industry does something that just absolutely drives me nuts. Now, under those bunks, you see that you do have that full pass-through storage. I just have closed the other side there. Admittedly, the sewer stuff is hanging a little bit low to the ground, But this is not an off-road camper. It's none of that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's just made for casual cruising down the road, hanging out in parks, that kind of stuff. I do like the outside shower. That's a nice touch there. And we do have a simple side mount portable solar prep plug right there, although it doesn't have any kind of roof solar. So, I said I wanted to talk about weights. The RV industry sometimes, not every manufacturer, but some manufacturers do this thing with their axle weight versus their GVW. That just drives me nuts, and maybe somebody can shed some insights on this because I don't know that I fully understand it. I just know I don't like it. All right, so what am I crying about, Argentina? This RV has a 3,000-pound axle. Okay. It has a 3,320-pound GVW. Those numbers don't really make sense to me. And the best I've heard from some factory engineers is to say, well, what we've calculated is it has X pounds of hitch weight. So the vehicle's carrying that, so the axle doesn't have to. I personally really don't like it when manufacturers use specs like that, because if you don't have the trailer front to back leveled properly, which on a single axle is very common, you know, they tend not to always be hooked up to people's vehicles level from what I've seen going down the road. I'm not saying that's how we're going to try to set you down the road. I'm just saying I see it happen all the time. I feel like you could still be, if the nose is high, you're shifting more weight than is intended back onto that axle. Now, obviously, we should all have the responsibilities, both dealers and owners, to make sure that everything is riding level and hitched right. But sadly, there's a lot of people who don't know, and there's a lot of places who are willing just to shoot stuff down the road that way. And I feel like when you have goof stupid numbers like this, that it opens up the opportunity for potential failure. I want to give you that information so that you know exactly what you're getting. I don't want to give that to scare you off, because as long as we know the real facts and what we're getting here, we can all, you know, speak intelligently on it. But I don't want somebody overloading the cargo capacity on this and then bending their axle and then wearing out their tires and their brakes and being stuck alongside the road. You know, we all have very limited vacation time. I want you to go out there and enjoy it and spend time in your campsites and spend time out of the service centers and not calling the tow truck. So that's my goal with this here today. So let me know what you think of this little guy right here. Like I said, not for everybody, certainly, but they do sure seem to be darn popular, more so than I realized. Like, I looked at it, I said, that's not really doesn't fit in the mainstream thing of things. And then I looked at how many of these are rolling around out there, and I went, holy cow. And I think maybe just because they've maintained a more accessible price point, and again, you know, you don't need to burn a ton of fuel on a big giant diesel vehicle or something to haul one of these around. I think it's something that just works for a casual person who's like, look, I'm just trying to get out for a weekend once or twice. That works for me. Now, I don't know that that would necessarily work for me. I was pretending to be someone a second ago. But let me know. Would it work for you? What do you like? What do you dislike? They're not trying to be the biggest, flashiest, fanciest thing. Do you think they did enough? Do you think they should have gone a little further? What do you like? What do you dislike? Let me know. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.